Welcome, everyone. My name is Arian Blanco, Director of the Individual Artist Program, and this is our Guidelines Information Session. So NISCA's Individual Artist, or IND program for short, venerates the power of the individual by supporting composers, theater artists, and film and media makers, enabling them to successfully realize their visions. IND supports the creation of new work by New York State artists through artist-initiated projects across a wide range of areas. Artists at any creative stage are welcome to apply. A few of our highlighted program priorities include to enhance and strengthen the vibrancy and diversity of the artistic voices of New York State-based art makers, provide catalytical funds for the creation of artistically significant projects, invest in projects that represent significant growth in the artistic development of individual artists, and strengthen the relationships between individual artists and the artistic goals and mission of the sponsor and commissioning organization as applicable. Some important key dates to keep in mind. The application deadline for this year is March 12, 2020 by 4 p.m. And just to note, with the individual artist as sponsored request, your sponsor organization may very well have a earlier deadline for you to submit your materials. The individual artist program is covering the following 3 categories this year: composer compositions, theater artist commissions, film, media, and new technology production requests are also available. Please note that if you're looking for the dance choreography commissions, they're currently within the dance program this year moving forward. And some key prerequisites to applying to the individual artist program include the fact that the commissions for choreographers can be applied for through the dance program, as previously mentioned. Each application by an individual artist must be sponsored by an eligible New York State nonprofit organization. Grants are awarded to the sponsoring organization, and the sponsor then directs the funds to the individual artist. Note, only the lead artist that's the named applicant in the application has to be a New York State resident or current New York State resident at the time of application. In addition to NISCA's deadline, fiscal sponsors have their own timeline and deadlines, which may be earlier. Projects that have already received IND program funding are not eligible to apply. Full-time students at the time of application or student projects are not eligible for NISCA funding. And finally, note, documentary films can only come into support for the post-production phase. Support will only be provided towards the work specified in the application. Artists applying in these categories cannot apply for support in the following year, even if no funding was received. An application for the same project cannot be submitted in the following year as well, even if the principal artist is different. URLs cannot be password protected and must remain live until December 31st, 2020. Note that NISCA is not responsible for any broken, inactive, or password protected links. NISCA funds a year out, meaning that requests made in this grant cycle of 2020 are for qualified expenses that will occur January through December of 2021. Further note that these categories are exempt from NISCA's 2 request limits. And finally, sponsoring organizations other than service organizations may request support for only 1 composer composition and/or 1 theater artist commission per year. And here are a few frequently asked questions, beginning with, does NISCA offer funding opportunities for visual artists and artists working in other art forms? Unfortunately, our IND program only offers highly specialized categories intended for the creation of new work. Again, dance choreography commissions are offered via our dance program, and support for artists in other art forms is provided through NISCA-funded fellowships in partnership with NYFA, or New York Foundation for the Arts. And you may get more information via the link listed here. I need a fiscal sponsor. Who does NISCA recommend? Unfortunately, once again, NISCA does not provide lists of sponsors. However, any pre-qualified New York State nonprofit organization can serve as a fiscal sponsor. You can also review past IND program grantees to see what organizations have served as a fiscal sponsor and reach out to them directly via the link provided here. Why can't I use a password for media work samples? Good question. Given the volume of applications received, it's impractical to continually need to key in a password to access video materials. Applicants, however, can provide media samples via private or unpublished links. It just needs to be accessible by anyone who has provided the link. Note, you may submit a work sample that is longer than the prescribed time limit, but in that case, please provide viewing instructions as to which segment to watch. If no instructions are provided, we will view from the beginning. Can the lead artist use a stage name or name of his or her production company or other group name? For the purposes of making an application, only one lead artist is to be named in the application using his or her legal name. Note, NISCA grants to sponsored individuals are considered taxable income. I have my own for-profit company or work with an out-of-state nonprofit organization. Can such an entity serve as my fiscal sponsor? A sponsored organization must be a qualified New York State-based nonprofit organization. See the applicant requirements here. Can theater artists and composer compositions commission grants cover production expenses? No. Commission grants are intended to cover an artist's creative fee exclusive of any production expenses. Can an experimental animation or other type of non-traditional documentary apply for pre-production or production phase? Regardless of artistic modality or approach, if proposed project exploring an actual place, people, activities, or events, we will consider it a documentary, and it can only come in for post-production support. CFA application tips. Please note that artists do not interact in any way with the CFA, and the following notes only apply to fiscal sponsors. Pre-qualification is the first step to make sure that organization is pre-qualified and all vault documents are up to date. View application resources at the link listed here, including our application manual PDF and an interactive guide listed here. There are no exceptions to the CFA application deadline. Once the deadline has passed, it is a time-sensitive application. Therefore, NISCA cannot accept any materials or changes after the deadline. Please read the questions carefully and answer them directly. Be succinct. The NISCA CFA application questions have word count limits. Use the financial notes section provided whenever possible. And remember to answer all the CFA application questions and upload all support materials requested, as hard copy submissions are not accepted. And here is information on the staff that works with the Individual Artist Program. My name is listed here as Arian Blanco, Program Director. That's my email and direct line. And our program officer assigned to the Individual Artist Program, Arn Chait, and his email and direct line. And please do not hesitate to email or call us with any further questions you might have after you've read through the guidelines, of course. And a lot of summary and additional information, including access to the sponsor request form and other forms, can be found in our Individual Artist Program page listed here. Again, this is Arian Blanco, Program Director of the Individual Artist Program, and I thank you for your time.